Hello YouTube. Today we're going to have a look at the graphic qualities of P3D. We'll do that by constructing a flight plan and then flying off from Valley. We'll do a circuit first and then go down to the Mach Loop and have a look at low-level flying in P3D. This is the machine we're going to do it on. It's an Intel i7, and in particular we've got ORBX augmenting the graphics. The software add-ons, we've got Zinatech's Natural Trees, and in particular the Hawk from SkySim, which is a very nice model. Setting up the new flight plan in Plan G. So we're going to start from RAF Valley. So we'll go up there. Click on that and start the plan there. We'll then come down to around about Barmouth here, intending to go to Dolgelly, around the Mach Loop. And having done that, we'll then transit down to Welshpool here. So we need a waypoint around about Barmouth. So I'll use Barmouth as a waypoint. And I use a waypoint to the plan. Then we'll be entering the Mach Loop round about Dolgelly. So we'll use Dolgelly as a waypoint. We'll go anti-clockwise around the Mach Loop and then transit down to Welshpool. So I'll add Welshpool as a waypoint, like so. We won't bother tracking around the Mach Loop. So that's essentially our plan. We have the start position. At RAF Valley, we can choose which particular runway we want to take off on. So we'll choose 3-2, one of the longer ones. Our transit altitude will be not 7,000, we'll make it about 1,500. And our airspeed will be around about 500 knots. So that should be enough. So we'll connect to P3D, and now we're good to go. So here we are doing a touch and go on Valley's runway 32. Got Opus on in the background, controlling the weather. So at the moment we've got a slight overcast. So notice the detail of the model, very highly detailed. And notice the details of the terrain we fly over. The ORBX gives you a huge amount of detail. So we're doing a circuit here on 3-2 at Valley. I'm controlling the aircraft externally, so I'm having to guess a bit at the speed, judging everything by the engine noise. So we're on the downwind leg. Gear comes down, flap to half. Notice the big push we get when the flaps come down, so we control that. Turning on the base. The Hawk model is really very well done. trying to keep it about 130 knots on the approach. See from the lights, the side of the runway there was slightly low, all red. A little bit of power to get up slightly. There, we're in the correct approach angle now. And get sorted out for the lineup. Lining up 130 knots, getting ready for the full flaps. Flaps come down, another boost. Control that, push to slightly high. Pick up the glide slope again. Correct angle. And down we come. So these are the P3D settings, initially the graphics one. Then the scenery settings. So you can see they're all about halfway. And then the traffic settings. You have to be a bit careful with these. Sometimes I find that the graphics go blocky, so I have to turn these traffic settings back to 0. Okay, back on Valley 3-2. This time we're in the back seat of the Hawk. And the weather is now clear and sunny. So now we'll transit down on our flight plan to Dolgethley and enter the back room there. So the scenery looking very realistic with the benefit of ORBX. Remember, this has got ORBX Global and Vector and Land Class and the Welsh scenery, so it's got the whole works. Model behaving very nicely. It does handle reasonably realistically. I used to fly these things for real when I was in my 20s, so I do know what they should feel like, and it isn't too far from the real thing. Heading south about 450 knots. The terrain graphics looking very realistic. And the trees add quite a bit to it. The Zenitech trees do add a good element of realism. And the aircraft model very realistic as well. So I've set the target frame rate at 30 frames per second, pretty much seem to be hitting that most of the time. So we've got Plan G open in the background, it's telling us that we're approaching our first waypoint. So on my second screen I can see the moving map, I can see where my aircraft is. I've also got the primary flight instruments open in Plan G, so I can see all of those as well. So here's our first waypoint, ready to do 90° left. Pull into the estuary, just pop up a bit, have a look. Looks clear. Descend again. Heading up the estuary. Plan G tells us that Dolgethley, waypoint 2, is coming up. So now we know we're ready to do our right-hand turn to enter the Mach Loop. Because you get a good sensation of speed. About 350 at the moment. So here's the Mach Loop. So we're at the 11 o'clock position, just coming in to the northern end of the Mach Loop. We're heading for the CADs. So here we are, going up the road. Looking for the CAD entrance. There it is on the nose now, so we've got to slot ourselves down there. Knots into the CADs, down the valley. Now we've got our 90° left turn, Corris Corner coming up just before the lake, so we need to slow a bit, pop the air brake down to about 300. And hard left into Corris turn. Follow the road down the labyrinth. Very twisty down here. So keep the speed at about 250 to 300. Hard banks right and left. Following the valley, following the road. About through it now. Coming to the river valley, so Cunliffe at about the 1 o'clock position, and we go hard left, following the river Dovey up the valley. So we're at the southern end of the Mach Loop now. Pop out for a moment. Enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the port model. Up north now. To get back in the cockpit so we can see exactly what we're doing. So essentially following the river, following the road. Coming in the top end now. Valley here, that'll be our exit point. Pull through, 450 knots. So we're at the 11 o'clock position. Well, in fact, more like 12 o'clock. So we're through the spur, and now we're coming back on ourselves, so doing a hard right turn, 180 degrees. To head back to the east. Valley, good sensational speed, very nice graphics. British Aerospace Hawk, used for many years by the RAF as an advanced flying training aircraft. So here's the map. You can see where we are, heading east towards Welshpool. Hawks in use by many air forces now, can carry a variety of weapons, air-to-air missile, Sneb rockets. Of course it is used by the RAF aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. Flight planner tells us that we're approaching Welshpool, just over the ridge. And there we see it just under the nose there. Small airport, narrow runway, but long enough for a Hawk. We'll run in and brake. Pop the air brake. Down to our downwind speed. About 180 knots. finish our flight at Welshpool. Gear coming down, flap. Base lane. So we're fairly light at the moment, not too much fuel remaining. To get our final approach at about 130 knots. You can see the skinny runway up ahead. No precision approach lights to help us on the glide slope, so we'll just have to estimate. Touchdown. Not too bad. So you've had a taste of the graphics in P3D. They can be very good. With the right add-ons, they can be extremely good. And nice smooth frame rate. A nice experience. So the conclusion. The program is stable and fluid on a good PC, and when you've got all of the add-ons, it really looks good. So there is a lot of potential for enhancement, and it will be the flight sim of the future, I believe. So I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to next time.